One question I've been asked quite a lot in my life is, how can you like Shakespeare? So I'm going to give you a how to like Shakespeare. Number one, most of the battle comes down with choosing the first play you read slash see. Warning, do not choose Hamlet. That's a personal thing, but I've had quite a few friends choose Hamlet first, and it's ended up badly because it's the longest play and it's quite dark and gritty and loads of stuff happens. It is a great play, I love it, but it's a bit of a hard one to start off with. So the one I started with was Macbeth. It's quite a good one. It's got witches and all that kind of stuff, but it's also the shortest. And I read it when I was in year 4, um, and I did that for school, and I quite liked it because it had witches and it was quite good. There is violence in it, obviously. So if you're more of a comedic thing, start off with something like Midsummer Night's Dream, Much Ado About Nothing. I'm thinking of doing a video about which Shakespeare play to choose first if you're interested in that. Number 2, see if you can find an adaptation to watch. This doesn't have to be a play in a proper theatre and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes that can be a bit overwhelming for the first time, but if you can find a TV show or film of a Shakespeare play, it helps quite a lot because they try very hard to appeal to people who don't necessarily watch those kind of things. Some good examples are there's Shakespeare animated tales, Shakespeare retold, The Hollow Crown is a good one. It's finding the way it works for you. Shakespeare animated tales is a condensed version of Shakespeare tales, and that's aimed more at school children. Shakespeare Retold is the four Shakespeare plays done by the BBC, I think it was, and they've chosen for and retold it in modern day language. There's some Shakespeare inserts in there, but it's made to just retell, hence the name, for for a modern day audience, and just kind of making it more accessible. The Hollow Crown is a more traditional approach with full Shakespeare, full costume, and all that kind of stuff, but it is a spectacular adaptation of it. So there's many ways you can go about it, but Shakespeare was not really meant to be read. Shakespeare was meant to be seen in a theatre. So the ideal situation is if you can go see a production in a theatre. It is amazing seeing it live, but make sure you choose the right play to start off with, because if you choose the wrong play, you can get bored very quickly. 3, this is an optional one, obviously. Well, they're all optional technically, but finding out about Shakespeare's life. There's some really interesting things about Shakespeare's life and times that just make him a lot more accessible. The fact that he was an ordinary guy is helps to dispel the whole Shakespeare myth of him being this high and mighty character that only the upper class people are meant to enjoy and are meant to understand and all that kind of stuff. It's complete nonsense because Shakespeare, well, he came from Stratford, where I'm from, but he was an ordinary guy of, like, most of his family were illiterate and all that kind of stuff. So if you find out more about the man, it helps to understand the language a bit more, but it also helps to dispel some of the myths surrounding his works. For read some Shakespeare. I know I said it wasn't meant to be read, but it's not always accessible to go and see productions and all that kind of stuff. So reading Shakespeare does help in liking Shakespeare. Again, make sure you choose the right source material to look at. You don't have to do a play. You don't have to read a play. There's some sonnets for little extracts and all that kind of stuff. But also, like, if you read a lot of Shakespeare, it helps with like translating it into modern day language, and because that can be a big hurdle in liking Shakespeare, with the fact that most people don't get the language because he's not speaking the language we use today. But you'd be surprised how much you can understand and how much you pick up just by absorbing information and other plays and stuff, you can pick up on lines and phrases that he uses often, just like how you learn languages today. You start by learning simple words and then like phrases and stuff like that. And Shakespeare's not speaking in German or whatever, he's speaking in English. So if you're an English speaker, you're halfway there. Then finally, repeat. It's not, I can't force anyone to like anything, but play to your strengths, find out what interests you. For example, if you like comedy or horror, like tragedy and stuff like that, play to ones like that. Shakespeare has got a broad variety of works that can appeal to many different audiences. So just because you don't like Romeo and Juliet, for example, doesn't mean you won't like Shakespeare as a whole. There's some plays and some characters that I don't like, but that doesn't mean I don't like Shakespeare. It just means you don't like that particular thing. I hope this has helped. If you're interested in me doing a video on how to choose first Shakespeare play to read, I might just do it anyway, but if you would, please let me know. Okay,